What is up, ladies?
Hey,
Who's ready to build a webinar? Oh,
right? Like, talk about such a geeky thing to do, but it gets me so excited.
I know. I'm like, hell yeah, let's do
That
it.
gets me scared.
Why?
Oh,
You're like,
like in the Zoom room, you're in the middle of what I call two power movers. So you remember, it's like we've saddled you on each side. We got you.
yeah, yeah.
That's
So,
scary.
so yeah. So, do you want to kind of fill Pamela in on what we're building the funnel for and all of? I'm sure she could probably see by like kind of. I know you gave her access to the account.
Yeah.
Well, just kind of since we are going to be using this video for educational purposes, maybe just kind of fill in everyone in on like what you do and what's the strategy, what are we gonna do?
Okay. So I am an infinite banking practitioner. I help people solve the problem of recapturing money that they are unknowingly and unnecessarily paying out to others. And so I facilitate weekly webinars that I'd like to get the masses to attend and then reach out to me once they find that information invaluable to them.
Okay. So what is your walk me through your goal? Like what would you like to see happen? You said because you said you do these once a week, you said? You want to get the live webinar? Okay.
Yeah, once a week is what I'd like to do for the live webinars. Yes.
Okay. And what is your goal for people being on the live webinar? Like how many people would you like to see every week?
I would to see hundreds of people on it.
Well, I always say let's start off with a realistic goal, like and we'll build from there.
Okay, so 25.
Okay. And what is your budget to for ads? Because I'm assuming we're going to use a mix of organic and ads.
Yes. So my budget right now is about 500 a month.
Okay, which is which is doable. It is a little difficult with a webinar funnel because webinar funnels are the most expensive type of ads to run. But if we use a mix of organic and paid ads, plus taking because I know you also have been doing my power content strategy and stuff like that. So you do have some warm audience in there that we can actually take advantage of. Um, so just so you know, whenever we are running a webinar funnel, I just like to like kind of like lay out the expectations, right? Because
Okay.
let's say you're paying, so your budget is $500 a month, right?
Right.
Let's say, I think for this type of offer, you probably could get a dollar per $2 a click. So if we have a dollar or $2 a click and you have a $500 budget, we're looking at 250 clicks to that landing page, right? Did you follow me? So if we're
Yeah.
paying a dollar, $2 a click, so 250 clicks to the landing page, on average, 20% are going to opt in. So let's say if we do math, 250 times 0.20, so
I think.
0.20. We're talking about 50. Yeah, see,
Yeah.
that's why she's the financial chick. So we're looking at 50 opt-ins, and usually 40% of those people will attend live. So times 0.40, about 20.
Right.
So so you see how it is possible
Yeah.
if we have everything in place. And that's why I have this lovely lady here, which is Pamela, because getting a show up rate is probably one of the hardest things to do right now because people are just so distracted. Um,
And
and
time
so,
zone. Yes. And working with different time zones
yep.
is challenging.
But you see how like we just did some simple math, and for anyone
Yeah.
who's watching this video, that is why it's important to do the math so that you have certain expectations. Because I get so many people who are like, "Well, I've got $500 to spend, and I need 500 people on this webinar," and that's just not realistic. But you also are going to get at least 50 people on your email list every time that you run this, right?
Yeah.
So it's And one thing to note too is this is 20 people a month. So we're still, we're still a little bit, but because of the ecosystem, this is going to compound because of Pamela's strategy that we're gonna utilize for the webinar, right? Because you have emails and I'm gonna let Pamela here explain like what a typical webinar funnel looks like. But just so you know, and anyone else who's watching this, as we do this every single week, this is all gonna compound because these 50 people may opt in. They might not show up this week, but guess what? When you do it next week at a different time, they might show up next week. So you're gonna end up with probably 200 people every single month on your email list just from paid ads, which is going to compound with organic and all of that fun stuff. So does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. On that note, though, I was pondering, I know I want people at the webinar, but with your skill set and Pamela, would you guys recommend starting with a different type of funnel, leads funnel or something other than webinar funnel?
So I think that a live webinar, so if you were telling me that you were going to do an automated webinar, we would be having a completely different conversation. So just so that you know, because people who've been following me for a while, they kind of are familiar with my ecosystem strategy where we do a lot of power content. We do a lot of hand raising type things.
Yeah.
One of the best ways to introduce an offer is by getting all of the people that raise their hand for the value bomb or for the free thing to actually go back to them in Messenger and say, "Hey, I know you picked up my free thing. I'm actually hosting a live workshop that's free this week. Do you want the link to join?" So you're also going to take advantage of all of these leads that you've gotten from your organic strategy and from your two-step posts and all of that. And so in addition to getting people to register, you're also going to be able to go back to all of the warm traffic. Now, because it's a live webinar, people are more likely to show up. If it was an automated webinar, it would probably be a little bit more difficult through paid ads to get people to show up and to buy, right? Because it's live, they're going to have some interaction with you. And I guarantee you probably first couple of times that you're going to do this, the feedback from the audience is actually going to give you feedback on how to make the next one even better because you're going to hear everyone's objections. You're going to hear why they're not moving forward. You're going to hear all of these different things that people have to say on whether or not they believe you. You're also going to be able to see as you're presenting when people are dropping off and leaving, right? And so that's
Right.
important. Those are all important things to make note. And so that's why a live webinar, I always tell people do the live webinar as long as you possibly can, because the more that you do them, the more conversations you're going to have with people and the more people are going to start responding to your content both organically and when they see it in the newsfeed with paid ads.
Got it.
So we're
Yeah.
so already you have a pretty good foundation because you have your power content, you have your value bomb stuff going on. And so I'm going to turn things over to Pamela. If Pamela wants to share her screen and just kind of walk everyone through like, what does a typical live webinar funnel actually look like?
Absolutely. I've got your account open and let me just share.
Yeah, and if there's anything, Pamela, because you build these things, if there's anything that I might not have, mentioned in setting expectations, please feel free to add anything or if you have anything to add.
Well, there was one point that I think is really important to understand with regards to webinars is the concept of urgency and scarcity. So if I think that this webinar is going to be run again, or I'll see it again, I'm not going to take the time just in human behavior. So what I would do for every webinar is change the call to action and or bonuses or something like that for the urgency and scarcity piece to get them to show up and get them to stay to the end. So you need to get really good at what are those bonuses. And if it's the same thing each time, it's got to be sexy and it's got to be different each time. So that's the
Yeah.
biggest thing, I
Yeah,
think.
it will be different each time actually because the infinite banking concept has so many different parts to it. So we can't cover it in one webinar.
Awesome. Totally agree with the live. You could offer a limited time replay here, which I see in your funnel. So this structure that I see, and I'm assuming this is the right funnel that we're in, is they'll opt in. And then what we'll do is we will put a thank you page in here versus the waiting room, because the waiting room, this is probably the wording for the thank you page. Yes. Okay. So they're calling it a waiting room.
Yeah.
And then what you'll do at the time of the webinar is, I'm assuming the offer is to book a call with you. So there will be a go.crumbie dot. Oh, we'll fix this link a little bit so you can say it easier than what you just heard me try to say, because I'll never remember it, right?
GoCrumbieandCo.com.
Right. And I'm never going to remember that. So we always want to have something like, mine is speakwithpamela.com.
Okay.
Something that's easy, something that's quick. So we'll take a look at this as well, because people won't write it down. They won't remember it. So it's just like a TV commercial. You want to make sure in that 30 seconds that you've said the domain 3-4 times and that they can remember it by the time they get over to start typing that in. But there would also be some buttons and stuff popping up for you, depending on, are you using Zoom webinar or?
Yes.
Okay. And then you've got a pre-call survey. I'm assuming that when they go to book the call, you're asking them to fill out a survey before they can book.
Correct.
Excellent. And then you've got a booking thank you. And then what will happen from this will be the opt-in page has a form, and that form will then trigger an automation, and that automation will run them through. You've now registered. Here's why you want to show up. Here's how to book this. And then what you're going to do is send the reminders 48 hour, 24, etc. So you've got full name, email, and phone number, which I think is really powerful. And then what you can do is send both email and SMS reminders. And you never, ever, ever want to send the same message in both email and SMS, because all you're doing is training them not to open them. So you want to make sure that your confirmation and your, I'm assuming it's this one here, your reminders are, I just sent you the top 3 reasons that you want to check out this webinar. Go check your email.
Okay.
Stuff like that. So I noticed you had some SMSs in here, but if they say the same thing as the email, all you're doing is telling people don't open them. They're not important. So you want to make sure that your SMS always directs them back to their email so that they stay engaged with you. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
one of my clients, what they do, and this is just an example, you can offer some type of bonus that the SMS actually tells them to go to their email to grab the bonuses, in addition to the information about the upcoming workshop as well.
Right. So these workflows can get very intricate, whether or not they opened or replied to different messages. So that might be something that you take a look at after. So one of the things that may or may not be missing here is another opt-in where you're moving them over at the end of this. It's a long one day after. Oh, you have a 1 day after. So you are keeping it in the same workflow. I would move this out into a different workflow. For statistic reasons, it's easier to manage, but you do have a couple of after the event as well. This is really, really important. What Laurel was talking about, the show up rate is abysmal, but I know that I signed up for that. I know that I've made a choice not to attend as a consumer, right? But I will come to my email. I will see those come through, and I'll want something incredible time-based for me to go back and watch that replay. First of all, it's only up for 24 hours. You might have to Frank Kern the death out of this, which is just deadline, and really hard deadline them. And then the next webinar is different so that they're not coming through the exact same sequence each time, because we could use this front part each time, but the second time, the third time, we might pop them into a different follow-up sequence so that we can see which follow-up sequence is actually better.
Got it.
Right? Like, I love data. I love to know where they're falling off. So you get unlimited, I'm assuming, inside of this white label account, so you can date them. If you're going to go live, I would call it IBS July 25th. And then the next one would be is it IBS or IBC? And then
IBC, yeah, it's okay.
August, IBS. There you go, Pamela. But that's how I would handle it. Your calendar looks like it's set up, the automations for the calendar as well. One of the tips that I use a lot with regards to calendars and making sure that people show up on appointments is I send testimonials and case studies in the appointment 48-hour reminder in the beginning before they get on calls with me. Take a look at what X and YZ said. Take a look at this person. Jump on over to this live that I just did, like what Laurel teaches us to do, right?
Fine.
Jump over to some of these, watch some of this before you get on the call. Because the number one thing that you have to overcome is objections, right? And some of the objections that we know of are they just don't trust you yet. So I love overcoming a lot of those before they ever get on a call with me. And then when they get on a call, it's just a matter of when.
This is ingenious, especially in my business where internet banking is not really a household name. So not only do they not trust me in bringing it forth to their understanding, but they also don't trust the process because it's so unknown, even though it's been around over 100 years.
Right.
Yep.
So
you have to remember,
remember.
sorry, Pamela. I think my internet is a little laggy. I didn't mean to talk over you. But like
Perfect.
if you like keep in mind, right? There's always going to be one of two reasons why people aren't moving forward. One, they don't have clarity on what it is that you're actually offering, and two, they don't have certainty that it will work for them, right? And
Sure.
so, I actually did a piece of content today talking about this is because I'm not one of those people that loves to pitch. As a matter of fact, if you have me pitch in front of a cold room or on a call, I will fucking fail like so miserably, right? And so like what I like to do is I like to pre-frame, and this is what Pamela's talking about, pre-framing the pitch with content so that we can actually move them from clarity to certainty before that call even happens, so that by the time they get to the call, it's not a, like, do you want to buy? It's like, how do we enroll, right? And so that's what we're trying. That's what she's talking about. She's trying to pull people through the funnel so that by the time that they get to the end. And so what the ecosystem is going to do is it's going to actually help this go by so much faster than just the funnel by itself, because they're going to not have only seen your funnel in the newsfeed. They're going to see your power content. They're going to see all your boosted posts. And so they're going to also be getting your emails leading up to that live call too. So this is how this all works together.
I think it's really a great point, Laurel, is that it absolutely needs to happen together today. In the past, it could have just been a webinar. We've ran it, a webinar and made millions. Today, they've got to ride tandem and lean on each other and bounce back and forth between each other and give people multiple opportunities to interact with you. And don't make any assumptions that they don't want it just because they haven't watched. I think that's the biggest mistake I see people with webinar funnels or any of the funnels is they just give up too soon. They think it's not working. So that's why the funnel software that you're using is imperative, because you can see the statistics, which I can share and show you. At least you've got some numbers, and then you can grab that link and track the links inside of the emails as well. So you're not bouncing between 4 pieces of software to try to figure out where things are dropping off inside of the system.
Where the friction is. Yeah.
And 6 times is what one of my clients literally, she was like, people on average are watching the same webinar 6 times before they're hitting that book a call button.
Wow.
6 times.
Yeah, it's very important to not make those assumptions. And the webinar replay I put a timer on this, 24 hours, and then it redirects you've missed it. And then start the whole process over again, get them to register, come up with a different set of bonuses if you want to keep the headline the same. And then, thank you very much. Come and follow me over here. Make sure that you bookmark this email. Go now and check for this bonus that's coming through. And then the book a call. Those are some of the hardest appointments, or the hardest thing to get people to do is to get on a call with you, because they will think that it's going to be a hard sell. So you'll want to make sure that how you're positioning the webinar as well is there's a free X. Jump on your call right now. Let's work through this together. I don't want to sell you anything kind of idea, just like we do with the power content, right? Go ahead and drop a line down below. If you do that on these calls as well, and you just get on and provide value, which is what I just saw Laurel talking about on one of her posts, was how many people she helps at no charge, and it works.
I
right?
saw
I
that.
do it all day long. If we can just put that aside for 5 minutes and go and serve people, you can do it in this webinar format as well. It doesn't have to be the hard sell at the end. It can be
I
jump
can
on this
get
call.
If I can get people to come back and watch my webinar as frequently as I go back and watch Laurel, then I'm golden. I'm watching her do the weather report and she's riding her bike and the map quest and the Google thing.
Right.
And then the taste tale with her friend there in Scotts. It's just like I binge watch her.
Well, one of the things too that you can do, this is another little thing, and after people register for the webinar, you could actually tell them, "Hey, here's my Facebook handle, here's my Instagram handle, direct message me and I will give you this bonus." Because I think it is because now you've just gotten their email address, but man, if there's a way that you can start a conversation with that person before they watch the webinar, it's going to up the chances of that person actually showing up.
Yes,
For the webinar.
for the webinar. Mm-hmm.
Reach out to them. So what you can do in one of the workflows, the invitation one, right? They've registered one. Let me share my screen to show you exactly how to do it. What I would do in that automation is set up what we call an internal notification. And that internal notification can send you an email, an SMS, or an internal dashboard notification here that says, this person has just opted in to watch the webinar. Go and interact with them on social media.
That's
So what
cool.
you can do, here's an internal notification that sends you, somebody has already registered. In here, you could let yourself or your staff know, please reach out to them on social media, right? If you watch me type, this is going to be atrocious, but you get the point.
Yes.
And then what this will do is it'll send you this notification, but you could also do a task. I don't know if you have staff, but you could add a task to yourself or the staff. And then when you do this, I don't want to mess up your account. I'll just leave that. But when you come to your dashboard, you'll be able to see your tasks sitting here, right in here. So they'll sit here and keep notifying you that this is here, this is here, this is here. Please make sure that you have gone and done
Yeah,
this.
please do it. Okay.
Okay, so I don't think you have the ability to edit this dashboard, but to move that up. But
Well, this just transferred. It's all brand new.
yes.
So, yeah.
Some of the high-level white label versions will allow you to move things and things. Different white labels have different restrictions and things
Okay,
like that.
got it.
Right. But you can still see it. I'd love to see it up top, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that's another thing that you can do as well. Interacting as much as possible. I don't know about you, but I always try to look at things as a consumer. How do I actually interact? I call it being self-aware. And when I'm scrolling through Instagram or Facebook and I see something, right? I'm like, oh, that's great. She looks amazing. What is that? What's IBC? I don't know. Husband's calling me something. Or most of the time, do you know what I want to keep doing? I want to keep scrolling because I don't want to reset my feed. For the love of God, please do not make me go to your link in bio. Please do not make me click on that link to register. Please have me DM the word wealth to get the link. So those are what we call a social workflow. And you can set those up even on your ads.
Wow.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
It'll say DM IBC. So I'll DM IBC. It will comment automatically, and then it'll send them a DM. Do you want me to show you?
Oh, so is it that's so see, I'm learning
Wow.
stuff. I'm learning stuff here
Sexy.
too. Because like I use mini chat. So does it
Yeah.
do it through mini chat? Like do you have to have both or you just it does exactly the same?
It does exactly the same thing. So let me share with you. I don't know if you have Instagram and or Facebook integrated. I looked quickly and it didn't look like you did. I'll delete this for you.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, perfect. That's going to be great. We're going to start from scratch.
Okay.
And we're going to pretend that we're doing Facebook just for fun.
Okay.
And we're going to add our trigger here of Instagram. So Instagram comments on a post. It says beta. No worries. No pages found. So unfortunately, it's not. But what I can do is to show you on mine really fast, if you don't mind.
Okay. Oh, I think I connect them in my social calendar.
And the
Okay.
social side is a little bit different. I just lost all my system this morning for some reason. That's okay. My mic went out, everything went out. This is my white labeled version. Don't worry about any of the colors or nothing. It functions the same.
Mhm.
And on social workflows, what we're going to do is we're going to choose the trigger of either Facebook or Instagram is fine. So all of these are available as triggers, which is really sexy. So I've got a Facebook comment on a post, and I'm going to choose my page that's integrated. What post is it's going to be published, and what post is it? I'm going to choose this one, just say, for example. Then it's going to ask me for one more filter, and I can do contains a phrase or it's an exact match. So say, for example, this one will be IBC, right? I got to hit enter for it to work. It can have more than one, and I'm
Okay.
going to save that trigger. So what the system is doing is it's watching this post for anybody that's commenting IBC
Oh my goodness.
first level or not. I didn't toggle it on, so it's going to watch all of them because I'll comment under people's comments, right? And
Mhm.
then I get to do the same thing. What do I want to happen? Well, the first thing that I would want to do is I would want to send them a reply in the comments, right? So you want to have multiple comments. Comment number 1, and again, just bear with me. I always say you don't need to spell well to make any money. So comment number 2, right? Like it just doesn't matter, but I try to pay attention to those that this will drive crazy.
So you can literally split test messenger ads versus opt-in ads. Like
Oh,
you literally just like we take your $500 budget, spend 250 trying to get people to opt into your landing page, spend 250 on an ad like what you are, like, hey, I'm doing a free training on blah blah blah, drop me a training below, right? And then
yeah.
send people to Messenger. That way you not only have their email address, but you also have them in a Messenger conversation.
Uh-huh. So I can like the comments. System will cycle through these so it doesn't look like I'm commenting the same time. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop in now, and I chose Facebook. So now it's only going to let me choose Facebook. I can use a template if I want. I can go contact first name. Hey, scooching in, my, like, how I talk, scooching in from the whatever post, right?
Yeah.
This, I can attach files. I can add a button. So I can say, register for your webinar, right? That's the first one, www.something.com. And, open website, Pamela. I'm from the old school. I still have to look down to type. I probably don't, but I still do. And then I can add another button, and this one will be freebie. I don't know. I'm not great with strategy when I on the fly, right? But then look what happens when I do this. It splits it out. So I get to choose, if they register, what do I want to do? Or what do I want the system to do? Or what do I want the client potential lead to do? And if they opt in for the freebie, what do I want? I can tag, I can internal notification, I can task, I can email, I can SMS, I can send another Instagram message, etc. So you can do this as well. Make
Wow.
sense?
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Gee.
So the ecosystem, I think that's probably the point of this for me on our side, go high level side, is to make sure that what Laurel is doing, you come around like a little cushy blanket. Oh even my camera's gone. Like I said, my system's just on its own world today. Come around it like a beautiful pillow, fluffy blanket, and just support it. It doesn't matter which way I, as a consumer or user or client or lead, no matter which way I go, you got me. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And high level will allow you to do that.
That's
Wow.
so cool. Like, that's so cool. Like, just seeing like how it works, like mini chat, it gives her so many opportunities, and actually gives her an opportunity to have a lower like ad strategy too, because like if she can get people to comment to attend the live webinar, or if she gives away like a value bomb, right? And then the next message is, hey, I'm actually doing a live webinar, it's free, would you like a seat, could be even like her like her next message. So that just opened up a whole bunch of possibilities for you.
Yeah.
especially if you start numbering them. I'm a ninja for naming conventions and making sure that everything is, we know exactly where everyone come through. If it's webinar number 1 and this is number 1, but the ones that registered for 1 but didn't show up and go to 2, you can segment them out in high level, and then you go in and you talk to them differently. So that's the beautiful thing about segmenting today. And that's why high level is so powerful. Can I say high level one more time on this? Probably. That's why high level is so powerful, is because you want to speak to people where they're at. I don't want you to send me something that I've already registered and then ask me to register again, right? I want you to go, I saw you registered for number 1. You unfortunately didn't make it. I know, I understand. I don't show up for the damn things either. But here's number 2, and here's why this one's different and how you may benefit from showing up. I would pay attention to something like that.
That's
Now,
powerful.
I haven't even showed you trigger links yet. How much heat can y'all handle, right?
Wow, that is so powerful though. It's like meeting them on their timeline, wherever they are on that timeline, with the proper messaging at that point.
That's right. Now, it takes a little bit to get to know how to use high level in that way. So as a newer user, what I suggest is we get the first piece up.
Yeah.
Let's make sure that's working. Then we're going to start with the Facebook strategy as well. And then we'll do the videos like Laurel has for the black holes, right? We're going to black hole it all the way through. We're going to watch our numbers. And then what we'll do probably first is optimize the headline. If we're not getting the opt-ins, right, it's headline first, then it's going to be copy. And then if it's show up rate, it's going to be emails and interacting. If it didn't buy, it's going to be the offer. And we'll watch those numbers coming through and plug up those black holes. Then what we'll do is we'll bring in the other strategies around it one by one. What people try to do with high level is help and build all of what I just said at first and never get the darn thing off the ground, and the webinar sucks. But you got some great Instagram, DM automations over here that are absolutely useless, right? So I don't want to overwhelm you. And then remember, I'm going to help you build this out. So I'm your GHL gal in your pocket. We'll make sure that this gets running really quickly for you. And then we'll get Laurel's side, and then we'll get some results. And then from those results, we'll be able to make adjustments inside of the systems and make adjustments with regards to Laurel's side too, right? But we need to put some money out there first, unfortunately, and that could be in your time or in energy as well. And let's get some testing done and then bring that pillowy, beautiful ecosystem around you, slow but sure. Because this is probably one of the last things I'll mention is that it's really important to understand that the numbers are the most important thing. We've got to look at the numbers. We always think we know how to ask Laurel how many times I want her to tell me this can work, right?
You're going to analyze those numbers, huh? All along the way, not the end.
No, the marketplace is going to decide at every single step. So we must watch the marketplace and make adjustments based on the marketplace, and we can't make those adjustments ahead of time. We've got to watch that first. So don't build. I notice people spend a lot of time building something that's absolutely useless. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I won't let you do that. Busy work.
Yeah.
Like a logo and crap like that.
Yep.
Yes. I have been lost in the sauce. Believe me.
I love sauces.
I've been telling Laurel, like, I am so overwhelmed. I'm doing this. She goes, you don't need to be doing that.
Well, no. Well, that's why I was saying, like, I think you need a funnel more than you need a website, because I know you've been, busy building a website. I did not have a website until like I was over $1 million. And the only reason I do is because I noticed on my Kartra page that people were actually going to laurelportie.com like 4,000 a month and nothing was there. And I was like, oh shit. Like I had traffic to my site before I built it. And so, but that was a good validation that, okay, I need to build this up. And so like, just so that like we can get the most basic thing done for you, Anne-Marie, I think Pamela said something that is super important. We have to build the most basic thing for you. I think there's 2 opportunities that probably Pamela could probably build out super quick. One is just a simple opt-in thank you page, right? Very basic opt-in. I have some language that I wrote. I think I shared it with you the other day. Like this is like the copy that I had in my head. obviously you're probably going to need to polish it a little bit because I just was kind of going off of what would make me click. And then two, I think just having one convert, we talk about that 60-second reels video where you're giving away something for free, like a calculator or something.
Right.
That way, when you have them in the conversation, you can manually invite them to this webinar. So you're going to have two things, right? You're going to have the direct offer of the webinar, and then you're going to have an indirect offer, like a freebie, that the second step is actually inviting them to the webinar. I think that's the easiest, just a simple two-step funnel that you can execute with the budget that you have, before you get like all fancy, because like once you have people in your funnel, then you could build out these elaborate email, strategies and all of that stuff. But that first test is, will people even opt into this?
Yeah.
That's the very first thing, because for a while you can probably set up, and I think you said you have a couple of emails that are already written and I don't know how thorough those emails are, but I think just like having an email or two, getting people and just seeing how the opt-ins go versus the two-step, because honestly, sometimes these things come out to where it's like, you know what? I'm getting better options with the two-step, to where you'll just run the two-step funnel at like the messenger funnel as the actual ad strategy, and then use the actual full funnel as the middle of funnel strategy.
Yeah, I really need to build from scratch in terms of the emails, because the ones I have, just like, remember I showed you the website, I mean, they were poorly written, so I really can't use those.
Okay. Yeah. And I can help you. I can help you write that. I'm sure Pamela has some really good templates as well. I mean,
Yeah.
This is great. This is so informative and so, oh my gosh, it just got your mind, my mind going. It's like, it just makes you think a layer, not just a layer, but many layers deeper. It's like, and knowing that you're just scratching the surface. It's incredible how system and strategies put together can just bring about the results that you're seeking, instead of all the fluffiness and the shiny objects all over the place.
well, I think it's important too to remember that micro stepping. That's why I have you guys micro step, because it's like people build these elaborate systems. Like I'll give you a perfect example. So I had a client who built a webinar. She got really excited because emails were coming in, right? And so she ended up spending like $10,000 of her savings, because she got really the dopamine hits of the emails coming in. Oh my God. Like, and she spent $11,000. And then whenever she got all these people on the webinar, no one bought, because she hadn't validated the offer first. Right. And the best way to validate offers is by having conversations and getting people over the phone. And so that's why we don't want to build too much for you, because like we
Okay.
want to remove as much friction as possible.
Yes.
Right. And so here's what I would suggest. And again, you might just have to play with the language here a little bit. You just need a really tight, like, headline, right? Like this would be like the headline, right? And notice how I built it to where it's your story, right? Because we're
Yep.
keeping with FTC compliance and all of this stuff. Learn
Right.
how I tapped into a strategy designed for the rich with only X amount of money in my bank account and became financially free in just X amount of time, right?
Right.
Because it's telling your story. In this free webinar, you will learn the roadmap I use to build my bank with only an extra X amount of money saved each month. The shortcut I used to be able to fund my own house and fire my lender. The 3 steps everyday people like me can take today to become financial. So you see how I'm like literally letting the webinar be your own personal story, because that's going to
Yeah.
do a couple of different things, right? You're not just teaching the how, you're teaching the how I did this for myself. It's the B
Correct.
language, right? And so
Correct.
this is what's going to really make you stand apart from every other person who's in your brokerage that's selling the same thing. You're selling the story of how you did it. And so this is like the language that I would recommend. So I'll just throw this for you guys to be able to use in order. But I honestly, like I said, I think that we just need to start with a simple landing page and a thank you page, and maybe a replay page for her, Pamela. But it's gonna have that same headline, right? Like I would literally go as simple as possible. So we just had this, right? So if I were building a landing page, I probably would only have this line and like a picture of her with like an opt-in. I would probably make it as simple as possible. One of the things that I've learned is the more you put on a landing page, the more opportunities you have for people to not opt into your thing.
Yeah.
I call it the bullseye. Bigger you make it, the more like it just makes it bigger, more objections come. I learned that in sales. Like, just don't talk. Stop talking, Pamela, right? Like, the more I would say, they go, oh, I hadn't thought of that. Oh, I haven't thought of that. Oh, thank you for telling me one more thing I disagree with, right? Kind of idea. And that's what all you're doing is just making it bullseye bigger.
Oh my God, I had a student, her name is Alex Carmelli. She doesn't mind me sharing this, I know, because we actually talked about it in the case study that we did when she was in LOL. And she had a 7-day video challenge that she would actually get people to opt into. And she's like, Laurel, I cannot get this to convert. And I'm like, it's a damn good offer. Like, you're going to teach people how to go live and sell in 7 days. I was like, that is freaking amazing. She sent me her landing page. It was several pages down. I literally was like, erase everything except the one headline, the about me, and the why should they listen to you, and the opt-in. And she's like, are you serious? I'm like, yes, get rid of it all. And guess what happened?
Yeah.
She's still running that. She's still running that today, 3 years later.
Wow. Yes, when I compare the examples that you sent me of your landing page and mine, I was like, wow, I am saying a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
They take so much copy and so much image like thought too. So we'll clone out that page that you have. We'll save it, right? You never know when you're going to need it. And we'll just make a smaller, more simple one. And it's always about the headline. We can't get them to opt in. It's the headline. So it's the headline first. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Laurel's copy is amazing. So
Yeah.
I'll build that out.
Yeah. All right.
It's probably best if you and I build it together so I can teach you at the same time if you'd like. If
I
you'd
would
like,
prefer that. I
Yes.
actually would prefer that.
I don't want to handicap anyone like in their own business. So the builder's got its moments, but once you understand her, she's good. So this will be really quick.
Okay.
Great picture of you too there. So yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Pamela. And thank you, Anne Marie, too, for letting us like use this for content too, because like this is like such a great example, because like it's great for all three of us, right? Because like
Yeah.
it just showcases, and that's why like I always tell you guys, like, over the shoulder videos, man, you know, and it's a win-win for everyone. She's getting a funnel, you're getting content, and you know, it's just awesome.
I'm happy for this. I mean, this is really leaning Laura. I'm so happy to be leaning on Laura. And no, I have Pamela to lean on.
Mine is pocket Pamela. So you get me in your pocket. So we'll go live too and share the video, and then we've got it. So we can.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay. Cool. And I'll share this video with you, Pamela, too, so that you can put it for content as well. Because if you literally just clip this video at the part where you're like, you can get rid of mini chat and just like do this, like that for me, I did not know that you could do that within Go High Level.
Tricks that we've got up my sleeve, right?
I don't even know what mini chat is.
Perfect. We'll show you when we get through this. Well, thank you so much for offering me a sneak peek into your business and the honor of helping you. It's such an honor to come in and be a part of this and help you. So that's
Oh, the privilege is all mine, and I can't even thank Laurel enough for even coming up with this idea. It's like, wait, what? This girl is a true goal giver.
Well, and this week too, while she's getting that simple landing page, I'll help you knock out a good conversion multiplier that you can run. I think you already have one that's running. Is it getting comments? I think you said you're already getting comments, right?
Yes.
So now you're going to be able to go back to all of those people and invite them to your to the first live workshop.
Okay.
And not even pay Facebook because you already paid for them, right? And so that's why we're going to start leveraging some of that warm traffic. And so we're just going to work on some, a couple of conversion multiplier ads. Your power content is still running, rocking and rolling. And then once Pamela gets that, you'll be all set.
Thank you. Oh my God, ladies, I do appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you ladies have an amazing night. If either of you guys need anything, just reach out.
Thank you.
Bye.
Sounds good. I'll connect with you, Marie, and we will set a time.
Yes.
All right. Have a great day, ladies. Thanks.
You as
Bye.
well.
Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.